Hello, Holiday Cheer here. What you are about to watch/listen to is a story that I've told before. Probably some people might be sick of hearing it by now, but this is the truth. This is the complete story of my Legends of Equestria experience, and I want to talk about it. This is part of the whole thing that we're doing right now. So, just this is what it is. We're going to get into it. This is personal. This is not going to be me being generic about things. I might get into some topics that might make a few people uncomfortable. And I might name some names. And I intend to do that. So if that's not something you want to listen to, then don't. But this is my story because it's important to me to tell it and to talk about why this game is important and why we need to save it and preserve it for future generations. So, hello, this is Holiday Cheer, and I'm going to play some Legends of Equestria. I'm going to talk about my experiences. Back in 2017, in like the summer or something like that, my friend discovered My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and she was talking to me about it all the time. And at the time, I'd heard of this show, and I'd grown up watching the original My Little Pony and My Little Pony Tales to some extent, although I don't remember. I just vaguely remember watching them. And I liked My Little Pony back then, and it was fine. But I know that this show had become a cultural phenomenon, and that people had this whole subculture called bronies, where they were really, and it was like adult men in their 20s and 30s and whatnot, that were really into this show. And I was so confused by that. What is this? Why is this a thing? I don't like anything that's super popular and super mainstream, so I tended to avoid it. But my friend was talking about it, and it was kind of important to me to, get into, and I will talk about that in a minute. But what I first got into the show, and I watched the first couple episodes, and I was hooked. And you could see that this was something that had a lot of love and care in it, and there was a lot of meaning and intention behind everything that the creators were doing with this show. So I got obsessed. I got really into pony. Both me and my friend were trying to find any kind of pony media we could suck up, we could get into. We found this horrible role play thing that somebody had made on Tabletop Simulator, and we were trying to do our own pony role plays, making up our own stories with the characters and playing as our favorite characters. And I was really into Applejack at the time as my favorite character, and just trying to find any kind of pony stuff we could grip onto. So then of course there's these pony creators. You make an OC and you get into that, and I created this character called Greenleaf, who was a tree farmer. And, just kind of generic. At the time, you feel really embarrassed about your first pony OC. I don't know if everyone does, if that was just me, but I very embarrassed to be oh god, I'm making a pony version of myself. This is horrible. I mean, it's not a self-insert character, because nothing I've ever done, I don't like self-insert characters in any kind of role-playing. But it was a way to envision myself in the pony world. I say that now, but, it was a way to envision myself in the pony world and to think about myself that way. And then later that year, she discovered Legends of Equestria. And I don't remember, she's more connected with different news outlets and stuff. And I don't know if it was on Equestria Daily or something like that. I don't really spend a lot of time on social media or searching things up and looking for things, so I don't have any clue what's out there. But she talked about this game that had recently been released as a free-to-play MMORPG, and oh god, MMORPGs, I don't want to play that, I don't want to play World of Warcraft, I don't want to play Final Fantasy XI, I'm so scared of this stuff. So I was real nervous about that and resistant to the idea at first, but she convinced me and we played together. So I created Greenleaf, and I was Greenleaf in the game for a while. But I have to talk about the hard stuff. So we're going to get into the game because what I want to talk about is how in the fall of 2017 my life ended as I knew it. And this is just where I happened to log out, I guess. But my life had been built around a relationship with someone, and kind of, like you do when you get really into a relationship, that's where you are and what you're doing, and you pour your whole self into that. And that relationship didn't work out for a number of reasons. Like, we both had changed a lot as people over the course of that, and I was in a really bad place, and I was afraid to go to sleep at night, honestly, for what might happen. I was anxious all the time. My whole most of that year had been pretty bad, pretty rough on me, for just watching this person that I loved and cared about fall apart and become someone I didn't recognize anymore. Until I realized that I had to do something. I had to make an active change in my life to remove that person from my life so that we could both move on. And that was about the time I got into My Little Pony. It kind of coincided with what happened in my life. Basically a separation that later became a divorce, and changed who I was, because this was all I had known, was this relationship and this person and what they meant to me. And without that, I didn't know what to do, and I guess I was afraid to go to sleep at night. And I had to listen. I was listening to ASMR stuff and sounds, and trying to it was hard to sleep. And then when we found My Little Pony and I got into it, that's what I watched to help myself fall asleep and help myself through this situation, wanting to escape into this world of Equestria, wanting to be a pony, wanting to live with the world of Twilight Sparkle and Pinkie Pie and Applejack and Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy and Rarity, and just have that life where you worked on your problems and everybody was friendly and you could talk things out with people, and sometimes it was danger, but you had your friends with you. And I mean, I had friend groups in my life. I'm not a terribly extroverted person, but I'm also a very good person at forming social connections. I've always been. So I met people in college and high school, and I've still got some maintaining lasting friendships with people. There's not as many. But as an adult, it becomes harder and harder to make friends and to find friendship and to see these characters in this world that they lived in, and to have that. It was comforting at a time when I needed comfort. Yeah, I played this game with my friend as Greenleaf. We ran around, we did some quests, we explored the world. It was amazing getting to be a pony, getting to run around and be in Equestria and do the things that you do when you're in this world, and to see all of this realized in beautiful 3D like this. The houses of Ponyville, because it is Ponyville. They changed the names, but and Sugar Cube Corner, right, and all this to be able to go to these places and be here in this world that I love so much. It's a gift. It's amazing. It's incredible. This is the schoolhouse where Applejack or Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle and Scootaloo go to school, right? They've got all the places. They have Twilight's library. They have the boutique. I just walked by a little while ago. They have Cloudsdale, Canterlot. All the places, and they've only added and made it more beautiful. Whoever created these 3D models in this world did a beautiful thing. You look up at the stars. Everything is so amazing, and I love it. And I was able to escape into this world in a time when I needed that escape, when I needed to be here. And then it kind of grew from there. So as I played this, I got this idea in my head that, this is a cool world. We didn't really socialize with people, but I'd see people talking in chat, and there was a whole like world to it, and a whole everything like that going on. And I had this idea in my head that what if we made this place more lively? What if there's a lot of players, there's ponies here all the time, there's stuff going on, but there's no real events. It didn't really feel like a living Equestria. It felt like a world, a game. I mean, and I've since played World of Warcraft and some other MMOs, and I kind of have a sense of what MMOs are supposed to feel like. And this doesn't feel like an MMO. It has some, but it still feels like a game. It still can very much feel like a game if that's what you think of it as, and that's what you see it as, and if that's what you want to see it as. But I had this thought in my head that what if there was a way to bring some of the magic of the show and the Equestria that we all love into this world to make it. Sorry, this is hard. This is hard to do, and I knew it was going to be hard. But to make it alive. That was the thought. That was the dream. And what if there was a pony that could symbolize all that? Like, what if there was a Pinkie Pie for this world? Because there weren't any ponies like that. Sorry, I gotta take a minute. There weren't any ponies like that. There were cool ponies. There were people who played like Twilight. You see like Twilights and Rainbow Dashes and Pinkie Pies and stuff sometimes running around. But there was nobody who really organized. And there were some people. There was like the Sweet and Elite, like role play group and hide and seek stuff that went on. There was the New Lunar Republic Herd group. There was stuff like that. There were some groups that were role plays, but there were no events. There was the developers of the game. I later learned like games like World of Warcraft actually have like seasonal events and stuff that they put on, and parties and stuff that are sponsored by either developers or community groups within the game. Stuff, bigger established MMOs have that. They have that sort of sense of community. But nobody, and it's a free, to play game with a group of volunteers that work on it. And no one expects that. No one expects them to put all that extra time and effort into it. So I was thinking, why can't I be that person? Why can't I be that pony? So I had this thought that what if there was a Pinkie Pie for this world? And I created Holiday Cheer because she symbolizes that. Because she's Pinkie Pie for a game where you can't have Hasbro named characters. Where, everything can look like Equestria, look like My Little Pony, but it can't be the same names. And it was during the Christmas event. We started playing it, I think, just after Halloween. So, like, I think, like, November of 2017, because that's when all this stuff happened in my life, that I needed this escape. And we'd started playing that, and so all the Halloween stuff was out, but the Christmas event was the first time that they had added, that I had seen, a holiday event. They had the snow, and they had put the Christmas tree in the middle of Ponydale outside SCC, and ponies were gathering for that. There was these parties, and I had this idea, that what if there was a Christmas pony who could bring that good cheer and feeling that everybody gets around Christmas to the whole world all the time? What if people had someone to talk to? What if, you had problems and you needed to talk to some pony? What if there was a pony that could be that person for you? And what if that could be me? What if I could give that to this community? Because it's something I could do to give back to this game. And what if in doing that I could find purpose? That I could fill my life? That I could have some meaning to a time in my life when I needed that meaning desperately? When I needed to feel something and have something that I could give back to. So I created this pony, not knowing what she was going to become, not knowing that she was going to become everything that I am. that this is me. I talk about self-insert stuff, but... So, I threw a Christmas party. I don't remember it. We used to throw parties all the time. In Sugar Cube Corner here, we used to have, Jet Black sat here, Wordsmith sat against this pillar. Ponies would, a lot of ponies would just dance in this circle. I think Lens Flare sat, back over here somewhere. There were some ponies specifically that sat up on the shelf. I used to dance with Healing Lavender a lot, who was, usually would dance somewhere kind of, around here. There was some pony who would sit up here all the time, too. I can't remember specifically, but there were some other people. There was ponies who would, try to go through the walls and stuff, and I usually like to dance up here on the counter. It was kind of a place, and me and Sorrow would hang out, and we had a friend, Watermelon Zest, that we would talk to. There was lots of cool ponies back in the day. There was ponies in here all the time. There was always, 20, 30 ponies in here at least all the time. And I always felt really cool, and I'd throw these random pony appreciation parties where I would just pick some pony in the crowd, just at random. Or some pony who seemed like they were having a hard day and just needed that boost. Just to see that person's reaction. And to help them feel better. And people would play ponies would play Truth or Dare up here in the upper floor. We'd all sit around in a circle and do that with Marshmallow Cactus and Cyreal Nightfall and some of the other ponies that I really enjoyed hanging out with here. I'm just clearing the chat with the that's Hots, I think I want to do that. Lol. And we would, all this good stuff that we would do. And that was, it's nice to see ponies here. But that's what we would do. We would just have all this stuff, and it was something I could do. And we thought of ideas. We had plans. I say we. It was me. I had all these thoughts to, come up with ideas for ways to bring good cheer and feelings to this world. I made up a backstory later for Holiday Cheer that she was a pony born from a wish that heartwarming could last forever. The magic and good feelings of heartwarming could last forever. And really, that was what she was. That was what she represented to me. That's who she was. That's who I wanted to be. Was someone who could bring a sense of happiness and cheer and goodwill to ponies, to them, to make them feel like they had a place to belong, like I had found here. And it was always a continuous, how can we continue to make this place? What can we do? What things in the show can I bring, or can and as I made friends, we worked together on this stuff too. I had other people that were interested in helping, Eventide, and I think, and I can't remember who else. Who else was there in the beginning now, but it was what else can we do to make this place? What things from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, can we bring into this world? And the immediate thought I had was the Grand Galloping Gala. I was having fun role-playing as a fake a joke Celestia for a while, being... I called her Cake Lestia, because there's the whole jokes about Celestia eating a lot of cake and being fat and blah, 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 and all that. And my thought was, well, what if, I could be Celestia and ponies could role-play with the princess? And I was like, oh... We were up here in Canterlot doing some kind of role play, and I was like, oh, don't forget, My Little Ponies, the Grand Galloping Gala is coming soon, you should get ready. And everybody started talking about that, and it was a thing, and I was like, oh my god, we have to do this. We have to do a gala. We have to do this whole big thing where we throw this party and ponies come and do the whole, the best night ever, get their fancy dresses. And back then you had the senpai dress, and you couldn't even color it. that was it. That was all you had for a dress in the game, and they're really in the lab coat. You could color the lab coat and wear that, and there's the top hat and stuff like that, and the fire pony hat. So we had this whole idea, and I discussed this with people, of having like the Wonderbolts perform. So we had this group, and I think at first we just called them the Wonderbolts, and they got into a couple ponies got into doing that, to like organizing an air show for the gala, and they were gonna practice it and actually do like a big performance here. And this is before we had fireworks and anything else in the game, and that's how they started. And then now we call them the Wind Riders, and they do the same things, and they kind of to keep in a theme with the non sequitur names that places that don't fit the exact Hasbro naming scheme of things. So we did that. We did the gala, and where else to hold it but here at the castle, because we didn't have a gala hall at the time. And I wish this actually went into the castle, but it just goes up here for whatever reason. I don't. This castle needs an interior, man, more than anything. Does this not have? I don't think it has an out. I always forget that. But we had it here, and we had like, I don't know, I want to say like 70 ponies or something, or whatever that had gotten up. And ponies were talking about this in Discord and different servers and the official server. And I was a lot on the forums back in that day. That's when I would advertise everything on the forum. I had a post on there. And ponies were so excited about this. The gala. We had this big, thing. I tried to do as much as possible. We had a contest for like voting who do you think the best couple is at the gala, who has the best outfit, blah blah blah, all this stuff. And people were hanging out all over here. We did like a whole procession from the gate where we walked up here to these steps, and I had my fake Celestia to greet them and stuff like that, and it was just, we had a food table back before cooking was a thing, and there really wasn't that much food in the game. But you could get food. I think there was like a pony over here who would like give you food, and it was like right here. This is our buffet area where you come over and you role play getting your food and stuff, and then dancing and partying. And I don't have any of my screenshots from back in the day, but I would love to have that. So that was just that the gala was special. It was something that was really important to have, and it was then how can we keep doing more things in Legends of Equestria that make this world special. And so we thought of at this point there was a whole group of people, and I can legitimately say we, because there was a we. There was a group. There was and I still played like every day almost, and hung out in SCC and did all this stuff. Actually, I'm gonna do something else here than I was originally going to do. But we thought of doing the Equestria Games, and it was like to do that, to have an event that isn't just one day, but it's the whole Olympics. Because I think that year, with 2018, this would have been in 2018 that we did all these things, was a year that the actual Olympics were going on in real life, and it was kind of like let's mirror the real Olympics and do like they do in the show with the Pony Olympics, where they have we couldn't think of a way to do like the procession and the flag raising ceremony and stuff, but we still organized like a whole week of events, and the teams were going to be teams from we encouraged ponies to make teams of ponies from like different areas of the Equestria, like wherever you were from, like if you were from Ponydale, or if you were from Cloudsdale, or if you were from wherever, you should get your team together. And we did races, we did flying races, I don't even remember what the events of the original, a lot of the same events that we have today. We did flying races, we did Earth Pony running races, we did unicorn teleportation. I think we did like an air show type thing in the Cloud Stadium where they had to do a performance. Tried to do a mixture of competitive and non-competitive. Well, they're all competitive, but races and non-race type events. I think we had something here in the Heartlands, but the lag was too bad, so that people were complaining. I was like, when we first encountered that, you couldn't do stuff here in the Heartlands because lag was too bad. But I think it's gotten a little better. I don't know, but that was, the thing we did, and we had all these events, and it was planned. We had 2 separate sessions. There was an early and a late because I didn't want to leave any pony out. We wanted to have availability so ponies could come no matter what time zone you lived in, because there's such a wide variety of players that play this. There's people from, far eastern Russia and Australia. I don't know if I've ever met anyone from Japan that I know of, but who knows? Maybe I have and I don't know it. But like that part of the world, and then there's people from Europe, and like pretty much almost any European country I can think of, I can probably know someone from that country who's played this game at some point. And like South America, and Canada and the U.S. and just all parts of the U.S. and just I'm it's just crazy to me that we have people in so many different time zones that play this, and it's cool. I didn't want to leave them out, so we had these extra events and really tried to put a lot of effort into it, into that stuff. And just having parties for like any holiday too, having a Hearts and Hooves Day party, I don't think I didn't come up with Lucky Clover's Day. That was a Golden Skies thing, I believe. But like having just different days, and having events for like that, all that stuff. And I got a reputation, I was the party pony. I was Pinkie Pie. I did all this stuff. I got to be, I'd come on and try to find people who were just sitting by themselves somewhere, or who were talking in chat like they were having a bad day, and just like talk to that person and see if I could help them anyway. And maybe that's not always my place to do that, to like be that person, or maybe I wasn't supposed to, but I got to be real popular, and that fame kind of goes to your head a little bit, and I don't mean to. I try to always give credit back to the game, to the creators, to other ponies that helped with the events, because I didn't want to be the one to take all the credit. I didn't want to be the only pony that was important, and I still don't. I never did want that. And I kind of started to feel a little pressured and a little bad about that, but it is what it is, and people think, whatever they want to think. But we created a server, Pony Friends Forever, PFF, to give everyone a safe place on Discord that they could talk about their day, their problems, what was going on with them, share their love for this game, do some role play, just make some lasting friendships. Because in the end of the day, friendship is magic. That's what I believe. I believe that that's the most important thing in the world, is that you have good friends. And I made those friends here. I've had I now have made a group of about 6 or 7 friends through this game, who I would consider to be my best friends that I've ever made, and I wouldn't change that. I still talk. Sorrow is part of that group. She's my best friend ever, and I have Jet Black and Wordsmith and Slushina and Lomlon, and yeah, and it's Slash, especially because like back in the day I used to do these role plays where I was the holiday cheer. This was the cheer family. I had a whole family because there was these people having families and stuff. The people getting married and having foals and having a family and stuff. Like my friend Blue Cloud and like the cactuses and stuff. And I get into this role play where I had there was like a small day cheer, and I never got married, but there was always like other cheers. There was people who wanted to be my family, and Slashina was one of the people that I asked that, because she was someone who was kind of troubled at the time, and it was always like, you look like someone who really needs someone to be there for you, to help you, and I offered that hoof, and I think to this day she's never forgotten that. And she goes on and on and on about it all the time, and till everyone's sick of hearing about it. But we love her, and I'm glad I made that friendship and that connection now, because that person has become really important to me and who they are. But I came here to this place. This is gonna be hard too. I came here to talk about something else because I found healing in Legends of Equestria too.
in April of 2018, I was throwing a party in the Canter lot in the cave underneath Canter lot, the secret cave, and there was a pony there with like a Halloween motif. She had a witch hat and a pumpkin for a cutie mark, kind of like a witch-looking pony. And I thought that was really cool. And I was like, "Oh, cool! You're a holiday themed pony too. I'm like a Christmas pony." And I got talking to her, and this is all really hard. But her name was Pumpkin Glow, and I took, I was in love, and within like a week or two, we came here because I knew this pumpkin patch was this place that was important to her. We talked, and this relationship blossomed from this. And I found healing from what I had been going through meeting someone in this game. A video game about cartoon horses. And I think I'm not the only person to have made connections like this. People do all the time. I mentioned we had like weddings in this game, and I to this day believe that some of those weddings were legitimate, like people's relationships. You're not actually getting married in reality. It's a cartoon horse world. But legitimately making those real world connections with people, friendships or relationships or whatever those might be. Those things are what's important, and I found someone that I treasure deeply through this game. And this pumpkin patch will always be so special to me. I don't really get the point of it. There's not really a pumpkin patch in the show. The Heartlands is so interesting because this is like where the creators took their creativity and just made things that weren't from the show and put them here. And it was just like a lobby or something. It was supposed to be like a kind of an in-between space between all the major cities, but the Heartlands is like my favorite map in LoE because it symbolizes just kind of that creativity, that everything here fits within the My Little Pony world, but it's not anything that we've seen before. And I have to go somewhere now that I've never even been to, that I didn't even know existed in this game, because they're always adding stuff and changing stuff and making this place more interesting. They're always putting stuff in. But yeah, I have had, and I'm sorry I keep tearing up and getting choked up and like having a hard time talking, but my life really changed, after beating Pumpkin. Like we unfortunately, we started being busy outside of this game with friends, with her and with other friends and with other games and stuff, and I didn't have as much time to spend on LoE, and I've gotten away from it, but we spent a lot of time on here. She helped organize Summerween, which is an event based on Gravity Falls, where there's like, Halloween in June basically, and it's spooky Halloween stuff in the middle of June. But like this, I kind of get away from playing this, and maybe it wasn't like, didn't feel the same connection I always had to it. And that happens in time, I think, with anything, but it's always a place to come back to. Legends of Equestria is always a place where you can find a home, and I thoroughly believe that. And I've seen so many people come back and be here, and I've seen kids grow up in this game around good influences, meeting people, who could talk with them through their problems. I'm 38, and when I got into this game, I was, I think, just starting in my 30s or whatever. Yeah, this whole place over here, this was not here before. This is new. I don't know how new it is, but this is not. I would know if this had been here before. There's a whole shipyard here. There's a dock. This is crazy. But anyway, yeah, this I would. I've seen, I've met people, a lot of people with autism and who struggle with depression and with just finding friendships and with gender identity and things like that, through their whole lives, find a home here and find friendships. And I've watched all these people, all my little ponies, grow up. And that's what's special and important to me. It feels to me like, and I thought about joining the team before, and I applied to the writing team, and then I kind of felt like, because I wanted to contribute something, I wanted to give something back to this world, to this game, to be disconnected, of course, because it's Legends of Equestria, and you always get disconnected. But wanting to give something back to this this world that that you that they gave us. But I don't think that that's my place. I feel nervous about it. I just feel like I don't have the that I don't belong, that I just couldn't really do that. I don't know. I just feel like I'm not good enough all the time. It's stuff like that. But anyway, that's not important. What's important is that we have this, and I did want to talk about something else because, I've seen all these things and these people and this community and the good side of it, but I've also seen the bad side of it. And I think it was in 2020. I don't remember exactly. I think it was around then. But we had a situation where there was a pony who had joined the game around the Equestria Winter Games, because we eventually, created a Winter Games too, because there's a Winter Olympics, of course, so you have to have the Winter Games. But there was a pony named Winter Roll, and it was another young foal player who was brand new to the game, had never played this before, didn't have any friends, a lot of people do that with the events. So they would come, somebody would invite them, or they would find that there was a bunch of ponies gathered in one place, and they'd be like, "Hey, that's cool. I want to make new friends too." And I thought this was another opportunity to bring a younger player and give them friends and a home, and I brought this person into our groups and introduced them to a lot of people and got them integrated, and this person turned out to be a monster. I have never seen such an evil individual in my life, in any way, shape, or form. They harassed people. They stalked young women. They doxed people. They were obsessed with certain people to the point of, like I said, stalking and harassing. They wouldn't take no for an answer upon being banned from this game. They used multiple accounts to keep coming back to trying to. They had all these VPN tricks to. Obviously was a person of some means. I had heard later that they had actually gotten into a physical altercation with their own mother and ended up in jail. Just a lot of things like that. Just this person was. I could not identify a single redeeming factor. They would lie and manipulate and use any nasty, dirty trick you can think of to I don't know, for whatever purpose. And I to this day believe that there was something seriously wrong with Winter Roll, mental health wise, that they were like this, that it's not entirely their own fault. But still, the damage that was done to this community is I can't put it in words. Friendships were broken, trust was shattered, and it had a huge impact on me as a person, because I had brought this person into this fandom, into this community, into this world, and I felt 100% wholly responsible for that. And I know that I'm not responsible for his behavior, for the things he did, but I still feel responsible for bringing him here to where he could have so many victims, for introducing him to people,
I turned the volume off, the audio off, so that I could like not have that music in SCC, but I didn't mean to. I meant to turn it back on so we could listen to the game's wonderful soundtrack. But I felt that it was my fault that Winter Roll did these things, and that affected me a lot mentally, and wanting to not wanting to take a back seat from things. I tried to quit events several times in this game, and I've gone through different groups of people, and I keep coming back to it because I realize if I don't do it, no one else will. I mean, there are people who will. Don't get me wrong, but I'm Holiday Cheer. I feel like that means something to people, and that whether I like it or not, this pony, who is me, has become a symbol of something. And I'm not trying not to talk out of ego. I'm trying not to make this sound like I'm full of myself, or I think that I'm so great because I'm this pony that everyone loves and stuff. But I mean, a lot of people nowadays don't even know who I am because I barely come on. I come on for events and I don't hang out in the game, and I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to be around more, but I don't socialize as much as I used to. After the whole Winter Roll thing, I just didn't feel comfortable socializing with people or like making new friendships, because any of them could turn out to be that guy. And then not long after that, there was a whole controversy in PFF with some people who are very homophobic and transphobic in the community, causing problems and hurting others, and some people that we had known for years, who come out with these ideals and these thoughts that were very harmful to other people in the community, and having to deal with that, having to, well, how do we change our community to protect these people? How do we, what do we do? And again, I felt personally like a lot of stuff was my fault, and it didn't help that there was a pony at the time who kind of blamed me for some of it, like for not doing enough to protect the community. And they didn't know me very well, so they didn't really know what they were talking about, but they still did that. They still said those things, and I took that to heart and kind of blamed myself for not understanding how better to serve the trans and gay members of our community who need that support. And I've come to a realization with myself through all this too. Everything that's happened is I now identify as non-binary, because I don't feel like I fit in with any, my whole life, I've never felt like I fit in with a gender, with the typical gender roles that society places on us. I'm not masculine, I'm not feminine, I'm just kind of a person in between who just kind of exists. Obviously you can tell from my voice that I'm, biologically male, but like most people in LoE and My Little Pony in general. But I don't see myself that way. I'm not a male, I'm not a female, I'm not anything. I'm just a person, I'm just a pony, I'm just a person. I just am, I just exist. I have a role, but this isn't really about me and my choice. It's just about this, or my decision, my discovery of who I am. It's not about that. It's about, this stuff that happened, and then I just kind of faded away from the community. But we have, LoE is still here. It is always here. There are still people playing. There's always new things being added and changed to the game. Like these guys. These guys never used to be here when you fell off the world. I love these Griffin models. I love seeing them. I'm glad that there's this guy being used. Look at his wings moving. He has life. He's real. There's Griffins in this game. I never really wanted people to make. I never really wanted the developers to make a Griffin player race like some people did, but what am I looking at here? What is this? Oh, this is this thing. Okay.
It's like the launching bay thing. Sorry, this is like I said. This is what Legends of Equestria is. You can have played this game for years and still find new areas and new things that you don't understand in it. But so yeah, that I have seen my share of tragedy and not trusting people and not that people in this pony world can be bad people too that aren't just good. There aren't just good people in My Little Pony. It's not all friendship and rainbows and parties. There's also problems and very real issues, and you have to protect a community. You have to, if you're going to build a community, you have to be willing to fight for that community. And I guess that's kind of where I'm at right now with this whole thing that we're talking about, because Legends of Equestria is important and real. And this is what it's meant to me. This is all the emotion that I've had through this game the last 7 years of my life that I have given wanting this to be a better place, and having made real friendships and real relationship connections, and just lived and died by this community, and bled for them, and seen and put myself out there, and seen so many amazing people come and go, friends that I don't have anymore, and just the events, and just seeing people and getting to know them and what their interests are and who they are, and like I said, these people that I have now that I call my friends. Just, this is what Legends of Equestria is. It's the people. It's the relationships. It's more than just these pretty 3D models and these ponies, and it's about that connection. It's about making that. It's about maintaining that and saving that. And right now, LoE faces, a time when the future is uncertain. And there are some amazing people who work on this game. So I call some of them my friends too. White Slowly, and Luna Eclipsa, and Candy Meow, and Trixie Cutie Pox, and Galapagos. I know it's Galapagos. I always want to say Galapagos, just because it sounds funnier. And there's a lot of good people who work on this game and have worked on this game over the years. Cyan, Snowspark, also, and I'm sorry if I'm forgetting names and not mentioning everybody, but just like people that are important and valid and deserve to know that what they're doing still matters. Like, even if the player demographic has changed, it's all, since the mobile gaming has brought new people into this, and like different types of people who demand it to be more like the modern games that they like and stuff, who want certain expectations or else it's garbage, or people who just want to spread negativity and talk about how things are horrible and how they need to be better, or to fight against, to improve conditions and stuff. There needs to be support for all of this, because this is important and valid and wonderful and special, and it's here for us, free. And it doesn't need to be free, but it is, and it shouldn't go away. This Legends of Equestria does not need to go away. No matter what, it's worth fighting for. It's worth being here. It's worth keeping in our lives. I want to always be able to throw galas. I want to be able to always see my pony friends. I want to always go to these places and think about these memories, and find new, and be exploring new things, and having adventures in friendship and in Equestria. And I'm asking everyone who watches this video, or who has stuck with me to this far through all of my bullshit, that Please tell your story. Please thank the developers. Please encourage them to save this world, because we need that. The world needs Legends of Equestria, because it has been so much to so many people. Please tell your story like I am right now, in whatever means you can. If it's a video, if it's art, if it's just a paragraph, no matter what you have to say, it's important and valid. If you've been here since 2010 in the My Little Pony fandom, the very first episode, or if you just joined last year or last week, your experiences matter. You matter. You are important. You are Equestria. You are the heart and soul of this game. But we need this game because it brings everyone together. To the developers of this game, you have created something that is beyond what the physical realm of what it is. You have created a world in which we can find ourselves. Because I did. I found myself. I found healing. I found friendship. I know who I am because of Legends of Equestria. I'm Holiday Cheer. I'm a pony who cares about other people and making them happy. And I thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you and good night.